Good day, everyone. Once again, we're back together and welcome to our channel. And we will be looking at probability. Of course, we're continuing with Venn diagrams. We've already started with that. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, just hit that subscribe button. And of course, you do also want to hit the notification bell so that you're alerted every time that we are posting a new lesson. And of course, continue to share and like our channel. If you like this lesson, please just hit like at the end of the the lesson, so that obviously we can get that algorithm going, right? And by the way, for those of you who need assistance with mathematics or physical science, you're more than welcome to get in touch with us. And our email address is info@mlungisinkosi.co.za. All right, so we're looking at the next section of Venn diagrams. And the question is as follows. They say for two events, A and B, it is given that probability of A is 0.25 and probability of B 0.5, and the probability of A and B is 0.15. They say by drawing a Venn diagram or otherwise calculate the following. So we're going to look at that. But what we want to do first is, try and draw that Venn diagram for ourselves. Okay, so let's draw our total sample space there. Okay, so what we always try to do is that we've got those circles in there. Okay, so that's the total sample space. Now that would be A, all right, all the elements that are in A and the elements that are in B. And of course we know that where the two intersect, okay, which is in here, they would intersect. That would be the probability of A and B. So in this case, I want you to note how you should always start with these kind of questions is always look at the intersection first, and you'll see why. Okay, so I'll say, well, the probability of A and B is given as 0.15. So that would be 0.15 there. Okay, so if I say, well, in this case, so what would be the probability of A? The probability of A, now it means the probability of what is only in A and not B, you see. So in this case, if I take only what is exclusively in A, that would be 0.15, in this case, plus what is inside of here, in A exclusively, those would give me 0.25. I hope I'm making sense. So remember that A and B also contains A, right? So in a sense, let me put it to you this way. If I were to take the probability of what is in A and what is not in B, okay, that would simply be the probability. Now think about it. It would be 0.25, which is the probability of A, right? And it would be subtract the probability of A and B in this case. So I would simply have 0.25 minus 0.15, and so that would give me just 0.1. Now let me just explain it in a logical way. All right, so think about it. 0.1 plus 0.15 gives me 0.25, which is the total probability of A. All right, I hope that makes sense. So you always start, with the intersection, and then you work your way outside. Look at that. Probability of B, I will do exactly the same thing. All right, so probability of B also includes what is in this intersection, right? So in this case, we've got a total of 0.5, but remember the 0.5 is inclusive of the 0.15. So what would be just exclusively what is in B? In this case, you would actually get 0.35, because if I add that and what 0.35 and 0.15, I would simply get 0.5. Okay, right. So I hope that makes sense, ladies and gents. Now, in this case, we want to check, is this sample space exhaustive? Now, remember, when we say exhaustive, it means when we take the probability. Now, please, I want you to note, the probability, if it's to be exhaustive, it means if I take the probability of A or B, which means we're taking everything within the two, okay, it must actually give us 1, right? But is that the case, right? So if I take that, it's 0.1 plus 0.15 plus 0.35. If I add all of those up, they give me 0.6. So it means it's not exhaustive, meaning that there should be something that is not under the probability of A or B. So there should be something that still is outside, right? So what I will then do is that I will say, well, in this case, if I say the probability of not A or not B, in this case, that would be 1 minus the probability of A or B. Okay, so that would give me 1 minus, as we said, 0.1 plus 0.15 plus 0.35, and what we get there is 1 minus 0.6, which will give us 0.4. Okay, so I hope that is visible there. Okay, so in this case, that means that on the outside here we also have 0.4. That is not what is within A or is in B, right? Now let's get to the calculation of the probabilities, and I hope that you'll be able to follow on. The first question was calculate the probability of A or B. Okay, I think that would be quite simple for us to do. Okay, if you don't mind, I'm just going to use the white. So the probability of A or the probability of B. Now, of course, we do know in this case it means that we are talking about a union, right? And not an intersection. It means that we are taking everything that is within the two, right? So we're taking everything within there. So that would be 0.1 plus 0.15 plus 0.35. So that would be 0.1 plus 0.15 plus 0.35. And of course, that would give us 0.6. Okay, so I hope that makes sense in terms of what we are trying to, what we've already accomplished. Now, let's look at the second one. Now they say calculate the probability of A and not B. Okay, so we are looking at what is in A and not in B. So everything that's not B in this case, so we want what is exclusively in A and not in B. And I'm sure you can already see that. And that's the, beautiful thing about Venn diagrams, that you kind of see the, what you're doing quite graphically, right? So the probability of what is in A and not in B, in this case, that would simply be 0.1. That would be the probability. And C, in this case, we are looking at the probability of A or not B. Okay, now, of course, there are two ways of doing that. Okay, so we're saying the probability of A, okay, or not B. All right, now we can either do this logically, all right, or we can, just use our formula. Remember, we said when you've got or, you can say, well, this is the probability of A, right, plus the probability of not B, okay, minus the probability of A and not B. Okay, so I'm using the formula first, but I'm going to show you how to do this logically. Now think about this. So the probability of A, we already had, I think we're given 0.25, okay, plus the probability of B. Now remember, the probability of not B, that would be 1 minus the probability of B, which is 1 minus 0.5, right? And then minus, in this case, the probability of A and not B, which is what we calculated previously. Okay, so what you have there is 0.25 plus 1 minus 0.5 is 0.5. So we've got 0.25 plus 0.5 minus 0.1. And in this case, 0.75 minus 0.1, that would give us 0.65. Okay, so that would be how you would go about it, using the the formula. Now, if you were to think about it logically, okay, so if you were to look at it, you're looking at 0.1. Okay, so there we are there. We've got 0.1. Okay, so that would be the probability of A. That would be 0.15 as well, right? Now, you want what is in A or not in B. So in this case, you're looking at what is in here. You're looking at what is in there and what is not in there. Remember, it's 0.4. So you can actually add these three together to get that. Okay, in this case, that would be 0.1 plus 0.15 plus 0.4, and you would still get 0.65. And that's how you would tackle it. Okay, right. I just want to take one last exercise, that looks a little bit different, and then we call it a day. All right, now let's look at our second example. All right, so they gave us two events again. Given two events, A and B, they tell us that the probability of A is 0.5, the probability of B is 0.4, and they say the probability of A or B is 0.6. Now, we don't necessarily need to draw a Venn diagram for this one. They're asking the question, are the events independent, right? So when we're talking about independent events in this particular case, please, I want you to remember that independent events are such that the probability of A and B, right, for independent events will always be equal to the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B. Of course, we did explain this when we introduced this section, right? So in this case, what you can say, it means that we want to prove if this is true, right? That if we take the probability of A and B, it would be equal to the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B. So let's do that. So how would we find the probability of A and B? So we can use our formula, the general formula in this case, right? Remember, we always say that the probability of A or B would be equal to the probability of A, right, plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B. Okay, so we're given there that the probability of A or B is 0.6. We're given the probability of A to be 0.5, and we're given the probability of B to be 0.4. All right, so let's find the probability of A and B in this case. So that would be, so if we take our mathematical gymnastics, 0.6 minus, in this case, you have 0.5 plus 0.4, which is 0.9. So that would give us minus 0.3, would be minus the probability of A and B. So meaning that the probability of A and B would be equal to A and B would be equal to 0.3, right? So now that we've got the probability of A and B, right, now let's find out what is the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B. So what you get there, probability of A, we said that's 0.5. Okay, remember we're given that value, There it is there. And probability of B is 0.4. So we've got 0.5 multiplied by 0.4, and that would give us 0.2. So therefore, what can we conclude? We can say, well, in this case, the probability of A and B, remember, we found probability of A to be and B to be 0.3. So it is not equal to the probability of A multiplied by the probability of B. So therefore, what can we conclude? It means that the events are not dependent, right? So in this case, these are dependent events. Okay, so these are dependent events. All right, so they are not independent in this particular case. All right, so I hope this was extremely helpful. I've got these from obviously past exam questions. Of course, you can continue to look at them. I think the next thing that we're going to do is look at contingency diagrams. Of course, there's a lot to do under probability, but of course, I'll try to cover as much as we possibly can. All right, so for those of you who have not subscribed, please just make sure that you, at the end of this lesson, just hit that subscribe button. And of course, you also want to share and like and tell as many people as you can, all right, about the great lessons that you have on this channel. Otherwise, from me for now, I'll see you guys next time. Sharp, sharp.